All right, this video is called Israel's Big Brother. And as far as I know, nobody else is talking about this, just yours truly. So if you like this kind of thing, you like some deeper revelations, then you have come to the right channel. Please do not forget to subscribe. After watching this video, let me know in your comments. Again, I have not heard this from anyone else, so maybe, just maybe, I could be off my rocker here a little bit. So let's go to Genesis chapter 16. I'm going to do a little bit of reading, but hopefully this will make sense. So this is Genesis chapter 16. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord has restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife. He went in unto Hagar, and she conceived, and when she saw she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee, I have given my maid to thee into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes, and the Lord judged between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarah, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand, do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. This is the good part. And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of the water in the wilderness, by the fountain on the way to Shur. He said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, where camest thou, and whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress, and submit thyself in her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude, shall not be numbered. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, thou shalt bear a son, and thou shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. So a lot of people look at this and say, well, that just means he's going against Israel. Ishmael is just out to get Ishmael because he doesn't have the birthright anymore. And he hates Isaac. So this is where a lot of, I believe, a little bit of misunderstanding comes here. So far, I have not seen Ishmael. Granted, he hasn't been born just yet, but I haven't seen anything bad from Ishmael. All right, so verse 13. Oh, verse 12 again. Let's just read that one more time, because a lot of people miss this. And he will be a wild man, and his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. He shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. So how many brothers does he have right now? One, right? So keep this in mind. Just think about this. And she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me, for she said, I also here looked after him that seeth me. Wherefore the well was called Ber-lahai-roi. I probably pronounced it wrong. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old, like 86 years old, when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. So let's go into chapter 17. Again, remember that Ishmael was going to be around where his brethren are. Remember that. So chapter 17. When Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram, said unto them, I am mighty, God walk before me, and thou perfect. I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly. Same thing he said to Hagar. Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him. As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall any name be more called Abram, but you shall be called Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful. I will make nations of thee. Kings shall come out of thee. I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed. It's important. After thee and their generations, an everlasting covenant to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. I will give unto thee thy seed after thee, the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession. I will be their God. God said to Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant. Let's go here. Oh yeah, this is the good part. Verse 9. And God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man-child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin. It shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. So every man-child in your generation that is born in the house or bought with money, or any stranger which is not of thy seed, if you get circumcised under Abraham, you are part of this covenant. He that is born in this house, he is bought of thy money, must needs be circumcised. My covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man whose flesh of his foreskin not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. All right, so let's go down. Go down, go. And this is where Sarah laughs. And then Abraham said unto God, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. Please make him the firstborn. Let him have all this blessing. God said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him. Ishmael hasn't done anything yet. I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful. I will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will be with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this time next year. And he left, not talking to him. God went up from Abram. And Abram took Ishmael, his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were brought with his money, every male in Abram's house, circumcised the flesh of the foreskin selfsame day, as God had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9, and he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the selfsame day, Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son, and all the men of his house born in the house, brought the money of the stranger that were circumcised with him. Interesting. Still, I have not come across anything that Ishmael has done wrong. If anything, Ishmael's blessed. Let's go to chapter 21. I don't know how much room I have on this, but this gets good though. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, chapter 21, as he had spoken. And Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son at the set time which God had spoken. Abraham called the name of his son Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son on the 8th day, because that's what he's supposed to do. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born. Sarah said, God has made me laugh. That's what Isaac's name means. And he said, who would have guessed? And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which had born unto Abraham mocking. Wherefore she said, cast out this bondwoman her son. For the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman, and all that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for Isaac shall thy seed be called. Called. Isaac shall thy seed be called. That's important. That's where Jesus the Messiah comes through. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. Interesting, eh? Interesting. So look at this, Genesis 25. Everybody thinks they're at war with each other. They're fighting and hating each other. Let's go Genesis 25, verse 8. And then Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good old age, a man full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, which is before Mamre. The field which Abram purchased, the sons of Heth, the son, there was Abram buried and Sarah's wife. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abram. Almost done here. Let's go right to verse 17. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he gave up the ghost, like his dad, and was gathered unto his people, and they dwelt from Hever unto Shur, that is toward Egypt, as thou goest toward Syria. And he died in the presence of his brethren. Excuse me, need water. Lots of reading there. So he died in the presence of his brethren. Later, and I'm not going to read all this, Jacob's sons try to kill Joseph. Who rescues Joseph? The Ishmaelites. You might think, oh, well, they sold Joseph into slavery. But when you read the story, where did the Ishmaelites take Joseph? To Potiphar. Probably one of the best guys that they could have taken him. They could have took him to prison or sold him somewhere else, but they took him to Potiphar. Doesn't say any money was exchanged. I believe there probably was money exchanged. Gave him into Potiphar's house. Potiphar took care of him right away. Potiphar knew that this guy was wise. So, interesting. The Ishmaelites come to the rescue of Joseph when the brothers were going to do a little bit of harm. So this is why I called this Israel's big brother, because Ishmael, as we all know, the Muslims come out of that. They believe they're descendants of Ishmael. And we got the big dome of the rock. So here's where I'm going with this. If you wanted to protect Israel, the city of Israel, Jerusalem, all this area, imagine Israel building their temple. That thing would get leveled over and over again because of so much hatred towards Israel. But if you put the Dome of the Rock and you protect, because there is rumor that the ark is in there, who knows, that city is not going to get touched because the Muslims are running the city. And quadrant, obviously it's divided into quadrants, but I mean, like, you're not going to go against the Muslims. You're not going to go to war with them. So I think this is the safest, and maybe this is some kind of a mystery or something. I don't know. But a lot of people are thinking Ishmael's cursed and all this kind of stuff, and I don't see that anywhere. If you could show me in the Bible where it says Ishmael's cursed, I think, unbeknownst to his relatives, in some way they are protecting Israel. Because who is guarding the Dome of the Rock right now? Who do you think is guarding it? They have a huge task force of Israeli soldiers guarding the Dome of the Rock pretty much 24 hours a day. Why? They're all working together to protect the Dome of the Rock. Jordanians are, hopefully I said that right, are protecting Dome of the Rock. Muslims are protecting the Dome of the Rock. So think about it before you start throwing out curses to people. Like, I understand when you look at Jacob and Esau. Esau really wanted to kill Jacob. That's pretty clear. He says it. As soon as my dad dies, I'm going after Jacob. They kissed and made up. So I think there's still a blessing to happen to Ishmael and his descendants. And this is probably one of the reasons why they are some of the wealthiest people in Saudi Arabia and all that area, because God blessed them and they're wealthy. The only difference is with Israel, Jesus comes through that lineage. That is the promise. So it's a little bit different. One is more blessings when you look at money and all kinds of stuff. And it's clear, you could see the richest people are Saudis. It's clear. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. I think one day they'll come together. I really do. What do I know? I'm just a little guy in the West. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Bye for now.